Yo, what's going on, nomads and drifting podcast listeners? Welcome to Backspace Nomads. Every week we talk about topics in gaming, discuss game releases, and occasionally have on gamers to share their personal gaming stories. You can find us at BackSpaceNomads.com or on Twitter at Backspace Nomads. This is episode 34 of the podcast, and I'm Brian. And joining me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Monica. How you doing, Monica?
I'm doing great. What do you think of having people find us by doing geocaching? And then we could put little plants around the world.
I don't know what geocaching is.
What? Why am I teaching you things every single episode?
You're better at the internet than me, I guess.
Geocaching is where you get the longitude and latitude of a treasure chest, basically. Okay. And people leave things in a box, or maybe there's a tree that has whatever in it. We should have some Backspace Nomads geocaches.
Dude.
And it will be we could fart into a jar and you could go find that jar, sniff our fart.
Yeah.
Fart into it for the next person. And it would just be a Backspace Nomads, everyone gets to sniff one another's farts.
It's a pass it forward crop dusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to TwitchCon. I guess we can geocache at TwitchCon somewhere.
My God.
Right?
We totally can.
We're recording this, today's the 5th. We're going to be out in Long Beach on the 19th. So we can stash some stuff to find on the 20th, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We'll stash stuff where you're not supposed to find it, in restricted places of TwitchCon that we'll sneak into. And so we'll see if people can get to it. What have you been up to? What's your week been like?
Well, as you might be able to tell, I sound a little different. I'm trying my best to have a peppy Monica voice like this. But I have a cold, and you do too. So
I'm on the tail end, but I've definitely been in the boat with you this week.
Yeah, I just took some NightWar, so feeling a little loopy. But outside of that, we typically would talk about the games that we've been playing, but I haven't really been playing any video games because I've been sick. So instead, I've been playing adult acne, and no, not really. It's a treacherous game filled with just shame and wondering why it still looks like you're hitting puberty.
You never played Pop-A-Mole when you were younger?
Yeah. But I have to say this, guys, because recently I have been going without any face makeup because I found the acne treatment. And this is not sponsored by any particular, this is not sponsored by them.
No.
But I want to tell everyone about this. I've been using this acne treatment called Different, and they're like, this is the first acne treatment over the counter that has a new ingredient in the past 30 years and whatever. And I bought into the hype. I'm like, you know what? Let me try this out. Totally works. It's awesome. So if you're feeling a little under the weather and you're just not gonna be playing your video games this week, try playing adult acne and beat the boss, Go out, get some Different, put that shit on your face. Don't put too much of it on because if you're sensitive, it could dry your skin out. And,
emotionally?
Or dry you out emotionally. And go take care of those zits, guys. That's all I've got for my week. What about you, Brian?
Well, none of that.
Okay.
Tough week, We a lot happened within the past few days in the United States. OJ was released. A lot of people died in Vegas. Tom Petty died. And I just played video games, So I escaped into my safe place of video games.
Yeah.
I played Dwarf Corpse. I brought it up as my indie game from last week. Tried to really enjoy that. Was really digging it. Got into it a lot. Had a lot of Minecraft elements. Was completely getting addicted into it. And then I just got hit with nothing but bugs and bugs and bugs in that game. Some game-ending bugs I couldn't get past. So I apologize if anyone bought that game on my kind of recommendation to check it out, because wow, that was some money that it's not going to pay off for a couple of months. It's a really fun concept. I was enjoying it until all the bugs. So sorry. Other than that, Cuphead, and I can't believe we missed it last week on our Good, the Bad, and the Indie. What a huge release. I picked that up, and I've been playing it nonstop. I think I got like 6 hours into the game already.
Did we really have to talk about Cuphead, though? I feel like Cuphead has had so much publicity. Like, it's gonna do fine without us, you know?
Yeah, and I just feel embarrassed because it didn't even hit my radar until I seen other people playing it. Mm-hmm. And we talked about it in our indie game preview way back, like episode 5 or 6 with McLoken. And that game is one of the most refreshing games I've played in gaming in forever. Like, super challenging in terms of like Dark Souls. You die all the time. You have to redo stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. And then the artwork is just beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe they put that down and got it to work as a game.
Yeah.
It looks like you're watching an old cartoon like Steamboat Willie with Mickey Mouse way back in the day, but you're controlling it. I don't know how they did it. I don't know what magic they used to get this thing to work on the screen, but it happened. And it's phenomenal. So review coming for that later on in the week on the YouTube channel. But man, I am just in love with Cuphead, and I wish I knew someone who I can game with in real life because they don't have online co-op, so I just have to play it by myself. But apparently the 2-player co-op is supposed to be even better, even funner. So like Cuphead, people have to experience this game, let it wash over them.
Yeah. I'm glad you got that time in.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah. It's for me. It's just been like pretty much sleep, check, Twitter, Facebook, see that the world is going to shit, go back to sleep.
Dude,
NyQuil, DayQuil. Yeah. Wake up. Something else has happened. NyQuil, DayQuil. Good night.
Dude, someone sent me a quote. I don't think it was their quote. They got off Twitter. Within 24 hours, OJ was released from prison. The massacre happened in Vegas. Tom Petty died, and Adam Sandler released a new love song. In 24 hours. Like, that's America.
Yeah.
So it's
kind of horrifying.
I don't remember a time in my life where so much has been happening so condensed, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
It definitely is. But let's forget all that and go to our happy place.
Let's go to the important things, okay, guys?
Yeah, the real games. Like, what are we gonna buy this week? You know. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the indie. The good, the bad, and the indie is where we look through all the new releases in gaming and bring you our opinion on what games you should play, the ones you should avoid, and the indie games that need to be on your radar. On this episode, we're looking at games released between October 1st and October 7th. Monica, start us off. What's your good?
All right. So have you ever just been driving down the road and thought to yourself, like, you know, that family over there that just seems to be having like a good old time on their vacation. Like, let's liven things up a little bit with some chains and just smash the windows in and scare the shit out of their kids, you know? You ever think things like that? Because if you do, if you did, Road Redemption might be the game for you. Even if you don't, this might be a great place to test the waters to see if you can, if you'd be interested in like the Hells Angels or some like, you know, biker gang.
Just dip your toes in.
Road Redemption is it came out on the 4th. It's priced at $20. It's published or developed by Pixel Dash Studios for PC, and it lets you lead a biker gang on an epic journey across the country with combat, road rage, adventure. There are dozens of weapons, a 4-player co-op split screen, online multiplayer, and it looks so freaking fun. I was watching videos of like you just like trying to beat the shit out of somebody else up on a bike. And then at one point, like, this guy just kicks this dude underneath a semi-truck. Like, I can't even imagine playing this with friends. And you can play it with friends. But, like, I can't even imagine. I am going to be playing this game on, like, hopefully with a couple friends on the Twitch channel. Yeah. I just think it's going to be so much fun. It just, like, even thinking about it, I don't know why this thoughts of like road raging is bringing me so much joy right now, but I'm smiling. I have a glow about me like I'm pregnant, and I'm not. and I'm sick, so maybe it's just the sheen of my fever hitting. But I'm really excited about this game. It just really looks like a fun multiplayer game, and those are hard to come by. Trust me, I have been looking for really fun multiplayer games to play online with my friends, and it's just we always get annoyed because we never want to play the same games. This one just seems like hands down, everyone's going to be like, fuck yeah. Because the thing is, like, even the other games that we play, it's like, oh, well, we could play this hunting game together. Can we shoot each other? No, I don't want to play that then. This is perfect for us. So take all of your friends that you don't like or that you do like and let out your aggression on them, you know?
Did you ever play Road Rash on the Sega Genesis?
I did not, but I'm sure I would have loved it.
This game looks like the grown-up brother of Road Rash. You know, that was like a 2D. It's the same gimmick. Like, you're on a bike, you're smashing people with whips and chains. This is a great find. I don't know, like, how you picked this one up. I am interested in this one. My good for the week would have to be Battle Chasers NightWar. First off, apparently Battle Chasers is some, like, cult comic book that everyone loves. It's from Japan and here in the States and stuff. It pulls together a bunch of animes or something like that. But the game they're releasing for it, it's an RPG inspired by classic console greats, featuring deep dungeon diving, turn-based combat presented in a classic JRPG format, where it's a rich story driven by exploration of the world. Just like the description, this game looks like a old school RPG that you played on the Super Nintendo, like brought to modern days. I've been looking for a game like this for a long, long time. I've had so many games on my Steam wish list that haven't come out yet that have a very, very JRPG feel. I'm slightly a weeaboo in my life. People, you know, if you've listened to the podcast before, I nerd out a little bit about my weeaboo love for JRPGs and all that. This game takes it, brings it to 2017. The colors and the color palette looks fantastic in the game. Yeah, they got this like very deep, rich toned colors that kind of have that crushed look where like there's not like the contrast isn't like super black, it's kind of grayish. Everything in this game looks good. It has so much style. The text and the animations, everything just works, and it feels like it's a game that you would have been playing when you were a kid. Mm-hmm. It's just brought now. Yeah. So I'm definitely interested in Battle Chasers. I think everyone should look at it. It is developed by Airship Syndicate, published by THQ Nordic. You can find it for $29.99. Definitely, at the very least, look at some videos on this game, because the only way we're like people who love JRPGs are going to get more of these type of game is by picking them up.
Thanks. All right, so now we are to for this week at least. This is I think I like the bad category the most.
It is.
I find so much joy finding the perfect bad game for you guys week after week. I obviously love promoting the good games that we find too, but the bad, there's just so much to choose from. And I love curating the worst of the worst.
It should really be the good, the Monica, and the indie. Like, you love this category.
I do. So my game kind of, you guys are going to start, I hope you don't start seeing a theme here, but my bad this week is called Tower of Lust.
Yeah.
It is developed by EH and published by EH Technology. It's a cool 50% off right now, placing it at 49 cents. Oh. So real budget friendly. However, okay, this game, the only way I can explain it is that it is like Terraria. Even the noises, the types of weapons, the worlds that you're running through. Now, I'm not saying that you could build in this world. You don't. But the noises and everything seem like they're ripped directly from Terraria.
Have to be.
And what you do is you run through these levels, fight enemies with like your Terraria sword. If you ever play Terraria, you just kind of like swipe your sword back and forth, and it's almost like a Pac-Man thing where you're like swiping your sword back and forth. You're running through these levels and you unlock pieces of badly drawn hentai puzzles. And But this is what
That's the reward?
that's the reward. So, but here is why you're doing this, okay?
Okay.
The Tower of Lust. I have to read this to you. And I'm going to read it specifically as it is written, which is not it's not fully like the sentence structure on these is piss poor, but we're going to make it through this, team. Okay?
I'm here for you.
In a quiet village on the outskirts of the universe, in a house in which a mysterious light comes out of the windows, live and collect porn magazines. Your collection shocks the minds of people, and not just people. ... So you are living in this house in the outskirts of the universe.
Are there outskirts of the universe?
And there's mysterious light coming out of windows in your house that you live in, which just sounds really cool. And you have a really amazing porn collection. Now we'll get to this actually. Waking up at night from strange sounds, you saw that terrible monsters all as one snatch your porn. Noticing that you woke up, they fled quickly. You managed to grab one and the same person, and all this was done in an abandoned tower of lust. Neither thinking minutes, only having time to get dressed, you fly out for monsters in order to save the most valuable in your life. So your only value in life, your only valuable in life is this porn. You have to go get it. And I'm just going to point this out here. The reason why this landed on my bad list, even though it's only 50 cents, is because this porn sucks. They're not even naked. They're in bikinis, and it is like when you are in high school and you draw anime. The anime is not great. They're not nude. They're in bikinis. And this guy is risking his life in Terraria world with ripped sounds in order to go and unlock these badly done hentai puzzles.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude, you can at least pick up some National Geographics and see some nips.
Yeah, you know what? Just they should be paying you to play this. Don't go buy this game. I feel like actually people are gonna go out and buy this.
Oh,
you know
you
what?
have sold more copies now than they have since it's released.
Yeah, ridiculous. Very bad game. But you know, it's really the story of the game that infuriated me because I just do not think if this person the most valuable thing in their life is this poorly drawn hentai. Well, by golly, why are we thinking about him?
I just love the fucking fact he says, neither thinking minutes. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
My bad for the week would have to be Craft on Steam. Spelled incredibly, I don't even know how to describe it. Like you're looking into your computer. It's C:\, backspace, or backslash, RAFT. Like you're looking at the C drive into the raft folder. This thing's hitting my bad list because it felt like they had something here. First off, it's developed by Nicholas Hyduck. How you doing, Nicholas? Hopefully you're not listening to us. Published by Luna.red, whoever that is. You can pick it up on Steam for $9.99. Hard drive C, folder raft. You can explore the dungeons hidden in your hard drive, find countless items in which to craft into a 1-bit world. So basically what this game is, you go on an adventure and it randomly generates these dungeons in the game based on the files in your hard drive. Randomly generates items based on stuff in your hard drive. Boss fights. Everything's unpredictable. There's multiple ways to reach your goal. And it's made in pixel art, which you know I have a soft spot in my heart for pixel art.
Yeah.
Everything about this game sounds interesting, cool, and fun, and like we should play it. And then you start reading some of the reviews, and you just understand that this game hasn't got off the launching pad. It is in early access, which, one, that rings a bell for everybody.
Is it in early access, though?
I don't know if it's fully released now. All the reviews from early access, which have been, listed in the last few days, just don't give it any good reviews. It just crashes all the time. The interface is clunky, the polar opposite of intuitive. Some guy was saying how bad he felt for having to write the first bad review of this game whenever he did. Like, that's just embarrassing to have to be the first person to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone is just like me to say, like, oh, I should have loved this game. It had so much promise, but Nicholas Hyduck just did not deliver. This game looks terrible. I don't want to go diving through my hard drive just to have games crash. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and it seems like an interesting idea. But,
yeah.
But that's the problem is, there's so many games out there with these really interesting concepts that are poorly executed.
I feel like he's baiting people in with interesting ideas. Like, this is going to be cool. This is going to be fun. This is a black and white game. In pixel art, you don't see stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
He says one bit, but there are shades of colors in this game. It's just not black and white. Get out of my face, Nicholas. I know what I'm talking about. He just doesn't deliver. He's charging people $9.99 for this game, and you just can't do that in this world. It's high time.
Yeah, that's a pricey price point for a game that's not really
so
meeting the what it's saying that it's intended to do.
So see Raft, just avoid it. You don't want it in your life. What's your indie for the week?
Okay, so my indie is called Headliner. I'm actually excited to talk about this one. It almost, if you watch the trailer for it, some of the art style in this game, like, it almost might make you think, like, Monica, why is this your indie for the week? Why in the world would you be picking this game out? This seems like it should be on your bad list. It's by Unbound Creations. It's priced at $250. Ooh. And it came out on October 3rd. And while this game is far from perfect, I like what it is trying to achieve from a thought perspective. So it's funny that we opened up the show talking about all of these things going on, in the U.S., because we're dealing with a lot right now. And I have, outside of the show, when I get into political conversations with friends, I'm constantly saying we're bombarded with information. It is too hard for the human mind to deal with how much is being thrown at us. It's overwhelming. It's upsetting. And it's way easier when we have to still function to just grab the headlines, to grab the details that make us feel most comfortable and then move on. To stretch yourself so thin with how many things are being thrown at us, especially, under the Trump administration, the news is crazy. So, but this game is a short media bias adventure game where you control national news and its impact on your career, society, and family. You share your story and see what the headliner before you did. So you're actually curating the news that's going out there, and it's impacting society around you. It's impacting how your family views you, and it's impacting your success at your job and the success of the news station. Now, is this a true reflection on what it's like to work at a news station? No, I do not think so. But what I do think that this game does is starts to show how people are impacted, and that so much of the news that's out there, it is intended to create an emotional state.
Yeah.
And I really like this because I feel like games in general, and I've actually talked about how it would be like, what it would be like to have a game where it's a logic game where you actually learn how to deal with opposing viewpoints and how to whittle away through questions to find, like, the truth of what's actually being discussed. I was just talking to a couple of friends about this, and I think that this is the start of that. I like this. So for $250, you get to try out Headliner. I don't know that the audience that I would like to have and gather something from this game would be the ones that would be playing it. But maybe, and I like what it's aiming for.
I'm definitely interested because We are nothing but, if not headline readers right now, because of the way we consume so much at the same time. You just brisk through headlines. And you can either fall into one of two categories when you read the actual article. You either go into like, oh, that headline was completely overblown, or it's a holy shit, everything's falling apart, and the headline's kind of masking it, making us feel good. And so I would love to play a game where you can actually see that like implemented and get kind of that viewpoint thrown back at you. My indie for the week is Mashinky. I think that's how you pronounce it. Mashinky is a transport strategy game about trains. The goal is to create your own transport empire on a procedurally generated map. It's a unique blend of realistic graphics combined with the isometric construction mode with board game-like rules. Developed and published by Jan Zeleny on October 6th, 2017. This game got me all excited in the right places. There's something to me that is so just inherently romantic about like trains and traveling through mountains and stuff on a train. And so when you put it into an indie game, you already have me sold just to pick it up. Mm-hmm. And then you go and you look at this game.
This is a softer side of you, Brian.
I'm getting sensual. I'm letting you guys. It's episode 34. We're pulling back the curtains a little bit. I dig the way all the visuals look. They look very crisp and clean, and like they're sitting in the right places. And then you go into the construction mode, where it is the isometric build mode. You can completely shape the way the land is, how your tracks move. And I can't wait to jump into this game. The game's releasing tomorrow. Recording on the 5th. This game's releasing on the 6th. I can already tell, like a socialite like myself, I'm going to be sitting indoors playing with trains in a video game on a Friday night. Because Mashinky it's got me intrigued. And it's been a while since indie game that's so small has gotten me intrigued. Because this one I don't think is going to be released for too much money. It doesn't look like it is. But I'm totally pumped for it. Yeah.
I do agree with you. I think that trains hold, like, even if you've never been on one, there's this nostalgia, right? Like, tons of children books circulate around them. And they just seem like such a unique way to travel, which is bizarre because they, have been around way longer than most of our other means of travel. But yeah, I agree with you. I always get stoked when I see even just like little train countries and setups and everything. Yeah. I bizarrely enough had watched some YouTube videos of guys that actually create like the little buildings that go by it, and they sell them for so much money. And I was like, I need to just do this. I don't even own a train set, but I just need to make little towns and everything. But yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
It's coming.
I totally get it. I totally get the appeal. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and I just love that about the indie genre. It's why I've been so interested in it. Like, where else would you get a small train set building thing that's not this huge train simulator where you do all the... Like, it just wants you to, like, very simply play a game that's surrounded by trains.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me get a rundown of your good, the bad, and the indie for the week.
All right, so... my good is Road Redemption. It's out on PC from Pixel Dash Studios. It is a road rage adventure with online multiplayer and full player co-op split screen, currently priced at $19.99. My bad is called The Tower of Lust, came out on October 2nd from Technology, currently priced at original price 99 cents, currently priced at a cool 49 cents. Ooh. But this is Terraria meets badly drawn hentai puzzles that aren't even naked. Skip it. And my indie is Headliner by Unbound Creations, came out on October 3rd, priced very competitively at $2.49. And while this game, again, as I said, far from perfect, I think the idea behind it, where you're navigating these decisions that affect news stories that affect society, your family, and your own career, is really, really interesting.
Totally. My good for the week would have to be Battle Chasers Battle Chasers NightWar. NightWar. Why can't I talk today? It's a sickness. Developed from Airship Syndicate, released by THQ Nordic. You can find it for $30 on Steam. It's just an old school looking RPG that goes through this deep comic book story that they've been building up for, I guess, decades. Apparently it was released in the 90s. I had no idea about this thing. My bat for the week would be Craft. You can find it on Steam for $9.99. Developed by Nicholas Hajduk. Published by Luna Red. It just seems like a really good idea that never got off the launch pad, but he put so much time to it. Why not fucking release it and try to make $10 off everybody? Don't pick this game up. And then the indie would have to be Mashinky from Jan Zeely. You can find it on Steam tomorrow, October 6th. I guess when you guys listen to it, it's already been out. It's a train building simulator where you control not only how the train runs and how you upgrade the systems around it, but also build the train tracks and just be a nerd for trains, because what else do dorks do with their free time? So I just love trains. That's the good, the bandy, and the indie for the week. So let's get into our discussion topic for this week. Let's talk about review bombing. Just a little bit of context for why we're talking about review bombing. Kotaku reported October 2nd, this last Tuesday, that Battlegrounds, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the Steam reviews for the game tanked over the weekend with 20,000 negative reviews from China. Basically, all the people in China were complaining about the server lag issues, spiking up to 500 ping. They took it upon themselves to go into the review section of Steam and just completely destroy the reviews for PUBG. What do you think about this?
I mean, so some history on me. I've been a part of some witch hunts in my life. Some internet witch hunts.
Did you start them?
No, I didn't. I didn't start them, but to the point where, like, calling into the city where this thing has happened, or calling and saying this person needs to be fired from their job, or like whatever, like actually participating.
Yeah.
And this was, in my younger years. And I feel like what I learned from that was that moment of justice most of the time is just based off of one person's opinion, not the full story, not considering everything else that's been going into that in particular situation.
Sure.
And it ruins lives. It ruins fucking lives.
Literally ruins lives.
And in this situation, it is ruining a game purposefully from being seen by more people. Now, Battlegrounds, I feel like, can stand on its own 2 feet with this. I almost think in this situation that bad press is good press. They're still getting press. And I also don't feel like people that are outside of China are really going to care that China is getting a ping of 500. Like, sorry, China.
Thank God. Finally. Finally, you motherfuckers aren't ruining our games.
But it is unfortunate. I don't agree with it. And I guess Valve is saying that they're looking into dealing with us, right? Like, they're saying that they're going to put some things in place that will allow this to not happen anymore.
Well, let's start with Valve's actual definition of what they view review bombing as, right? Valve views review bombing where players post a large number of reviews in a very compressed time frame, aimed at lowering the review score of the game. At the same time, they upvote each other's reviews and downvote all opposing reviews.
Mm.
So they're trying to artificially decrease the amount of good review scores on the game. And so they had a few ideas on how to combat this, and I think the last one they came up with and what they implemented was to create a histogram so you can actually go in and see where the review bomb spiked, and that's why we can now see them. Which, Valve, I think Valve makes the best out of every situation. I don't know how they threaded the needle so perfectly on this one, because it came to a solution where not only do they solve the problem of review bombing without taking away the option to review games from the player, But it also creates a benefit for other games too, where you can see the increase in reviews from the histogram.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the review bombs, and that it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. I really do. PUBG is in early access, but everyone buys this game to get access to the early access, correct? This game is, like many other, going to be in early access forever, because once you get out of early access, people can hold you accountable for the promises that you didn't deliver on. These people have made promises, they're not delivering on them, and what other recourse do you have as a consumer besides a protest in electronic form? That's what a review bomb is. This is throwing your fist in the air with 20,000 other people and saying, fix what you got going on, because this is bullshit. We saw this with GTA. We're seeing this now with PUBG, and it gets results. It gets people talking about the issues. These pull headlines, and it puts a spotlight on the problem.
But you don't think that people were already talking about the issues? I feel like people already knew about these issues in the community, and that's where mixed reviews come in, or negative trends come in towards the game. It just feels like at this point, when you're just review bombing, people are joining in even if they haven't had that experience.
Sure.
It's no longer organic. It's a forced approach to only create, and this is about one issue, right? For the game. Forget about all of the people that are enjoying the game or that haven't, have been enjoying it. I don't know, because then if people stop playing, if the community starts going down because the people aren't playing the game, because people aren't seeing it, and it's not naturally happening because the developers are people can opt out of the game if they want to, but if people aren't even finding the game because of negative reviews, then that's just hurting the community wants to enjoy it. I don't know, man.
But the community isn't enjoying it. The community that wants to enjoy it doesn't have the opportunity to, because the publisher isn't fixing the problems that they're experiencing, or they're doing things that affect the community in such a negative way. You don't have that much recourse as a consumer nowadays, especially in the video game industry. You just don't. Okay,
but review bombing also doesn't just happen in instances like this. I feel like review bombing happens even if, I can't think of an instance. I wish I could right now.
But they're all good.
No,
Ooh.
Because if someone, no, they're not all good. I will find them and I will bring them up next week. But think of it.
We can't talk about this last week or next week.
Yeah. But think about if someone is involved in a scandal or whatever.
Sure.
And then people are like, well, we're just going to negatively review these games because this upsets us. It is not always used for legitimate reasons. And people that just jump onto it because the internet as a whole is this hive mind where they might not even have played the game. Maybe they play the game and love it.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
So, okay, for this instance, China got fed up. They all banded together and they did this, and maybe it will have a positive impact. But review bombing as a whole does not have a positive impact. And why can't people just write their own review and not have to be a witch hunt? I don't know.
I can see your point that people can't handle the responsibility of what's been given to them, because I live in the South, and the South of the United States is notorious for taking advantage in a negative way of the things that we have. But, I have been part of movements and protests where I'm not affected by what was going on. I'm a white male that grew up in a pretty middle-class family. I'm not affected by a lot of problems in the world, but I will lend my voice to the people who are being affected. And if this motherfucker in China is getting 500 ping and he wants to goddamn play PUBG, I am on his goddamn side, and I will review bomb Boo Hole until they can't get out of this hole. Fuck that. I love review bombing. Pay attention. We are not just like click farms that give you $20 anytime you put up a hook and try and sell us something.
Yeah.
We are people. And we deserve better.
We have feelings.
We do.
Okay, I get that. I've seen it used for bad. I think it can be used for good. But it's just like any protest where it's
Don't
like, it's like any protest where everyone's like, we're coming together. We're gonna make something better. And the next thing you know, you're just bashing in small business windows. Like, sure. Did you get a point across? Yeah, that you're a fucking asshole. Like, I don't think that people are really going to look at this any more than they were already talking about it. It's just funny. This is just funny. The community already knew about the ping issues. They already knew about it. At this point, it's just like, well, we're just going to be little shits. And in my opinion, this is the bashing in of the windows. Now, is it harmless enough? Maybe, okay. But I don't know. Like, I just don't think it's needed. I think you can talk about it on forums. I think the community talks about it enough. You have streamers talking about it. I don't know.
I mean, you got all those people talking about, but the developer now is saying, hey, we're going to fix this now because they got slapped in the face on Steam reviews. Which, have you ever looked at a Steam review and been like, oh, I'm going to buy this game now?
Yeah.
All right, we're two different people. I've never done that in my life.
Dude, I'm a couponer, man. I need to make sure I'm getting a good deal.
Doing a podcast with Groupon over there.
I need to make sure I'm doing a good deal.
Dude, what a bad week for PUBG, though, and Bluehole. Like, coming on the heels of their Fortnite situation.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next week, this hits them. Is there, like, a grand conspiracy?
That's what I'm saying.
There's like a grand conspiracy going on.
I'm just saying, like, that's why I don't like these things. I think people just need to have their own, not be a hive mind. If they are having a bad time, they need to review it honestly.
Sure.
And if that happens enough, like, you always have the ability to review a game, How many of us actually use that, though? We don't. But then we see other people all jumping on to review. I know. But then we see other people all jumping on and shitting on a game, and it's like, oh, that would be fun. Like, let me join on,
Sure.
I also would be curious to see how many of these people that wrote this review have ever reviewed another game.
Dude, do we have to go into review bombing part 2? Because, like, you have... I really want to go research this a little bit more, because I don't know any, like, review bombs that went wrong.
Okay.
Like
all right, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's look at the history of the review bomb. We'll do a little historical lesson.
Yeah, we'll do like
in
5-10
the
minutes
future.
on it. Yeah.
And we should also do a little historical lesson on like a sample size of the people that have done these reviews to see how many other reviews they've actually written, if they've only been negative, and if they've ever like participated maybe in other review bombs.
Should we get a review bomb going on for the Nomads community? We'll do it like positively. We'll call it like a love bomb.
A posy bomb?
Yeah, a posy. No, okay.
Posy bomb.
Is that a thing, or do you just make it up?
I just made it up, but that's what we're gonna go posy bomb. PUBG.
It feels
Love and flowers. This game made my wife get back with me. After I had cheated on my wife, and I really regretted. I knew I would never do it again, and this game made my wife come back to me. Also, my dog was resurrected.
Dude, should we posy bomb Tower of Lust and just get Tower of Lust like pumped up like all these fake stories?
Oh yeah, let's posy bomb Tower of Lust. I'll posy bomb Tower of Lust.
All right, if you're
I'm not buying the game, but I'll posy bomb it.
Dude, go to our website, backspacenomads.com. We're going to post this. Get on our Discord. There'll be more links. We're going to posy bomb Tower of Lust and see if we can't get this game turned around so they can start selling it at full price again. I'm excited for this.
Jesus.
All right, that's going to do it for episode 35 of the Backspace, or 34 of the Backspace Nomads podcast. Next week, we'll be on for episode 35. You can catch us then. Till then, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.